Testing, testing. What is going on, crew? Brian DeCosta, shreddedforlife.com, here to get you shredded, keep you shredded, the good shredded. In today's video, we're getting into resistance training and how to balance it with another physical activity. So bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever you want to call it, you're moving metal objects up and down, side to side. You want the muscles to grow, get bigger, but also you're like, I also like doing this other thing like MMA or yoga or running, whatever it may be. What's the dance between these two things? Is there a time of day I should do one and do the other? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to be going through a back workout, going through as in, you'll see the clips of that. This was on Instagram a few days ago. And let's go ahead and get into it. Hope you guys like my medium polo I'm rocking. Shouts to Young LA, the GOATs in the game. If you're a relatively young human being and you haven't heard of Young LA at this point, I don't know if you can be helped. But jokes aside, this is actually a large, but this time of year I'm pushing 210. I think I need an XL, which is pretty cool, I guess. Let's just get into the question, okay? Dom specifically asked about this. And for those of you who don't know, I answer a question commented on the prior YouTube video. So if you're sitting here watching like, oh, I wonder where people ask these questions, just like scroll down on your phone and like just ask a question and I'll probably answer it, maybe answer it. Hello, Brian. Good morning. EST. My guy. I love how you said good morning EST to like let me know where you were. That's a very nice thing of you to do. Thank you. That shouldn't be as funny as it is, but for some reason it's very funny to me. I've been doing MMA since I've been 14, 15 years old. Currently I'm 22. I've been doing this thing where I start to train around 6 to 8 a.m. for an hour or so. You're psycho. Just kidding. Also doing a bit of HIIT cardio or 2 or 3 miles. Rest 6 to 8 hours throughout the day, and then go to MMA for my cardio breathing session. Also, sometimes I do the opposite. Do strength training only in the AM, go to MMA at night, or 7 to 8 p.m. boxing for my cardio. What would you recommend? I don't think this would make a big difference, honestly. The HIIT cardio will probably be hard after resistance training. I know when I do cardio after weight training, because we shut a lot of blood, nutrients into the muscle, those muscles are saturated, filled with blood, and sometimes it's just hard to do cardio after weight training. You kind of feel heavy, plus you're also just tired in general from weight training. So I'm generally not a fan of cardio after weight training sessions, unless if it's low intensity. Then it doesn't matter as much, like if you're incline walking on the treadmill or something like that. But you specifically said HIIT here, and just HIIT to me after weight training sounds like torture, honestly. But it's personal preference to you. I don't think results-wise it's going to make a huge difference. You know, a difference here could be that the HIIT cardio sessions or running 2 or 3 miles, like how many calories are you burning with that if your goal is fat loss versus an hour of boxing? You know, this is where a difference could come in. If your goal is to optimize calorie burn, perhaps you're in a fat loss phase, you're looking to get leaner. In general, I'll say like this is probably too much activity for that aim. You can get away with doing less. However, if you like to keep these around, it may be better to, for example, if the boxing burns more calories, an hour of boxing sounds like it burned quite a bit of calories. Perhaps it's in your best interest to go the second scenario route here, as in keep the boxing in and nix the HIIT cardio or running 2 or 3 miles after your weight training. But as with anything, any question like this, it always depends on what your aim is. And as I've said many times, and I'll repeat briefly, is that it's better to pick one goal to work on at a time. Everyone and their mother will come to me or another trainer and say, I want to lose fat, gain muscle, earn $1 billion at the same time. That's all well and good, but like, okay, let's pick one to attack first that's deemed most important to you. Okay, raise your hand, say, I want to lose fat. Okay, then we'll go down the fat loss route and we'll optimize for fat loss. We won't push away muscle gain. It's not like we're going to try to avoid it, but we're going to be doing everything in our power to lose fat first because you've said that's what you want to do. You can ask for your trainer's recommendation on what may be best for your current situation. Of course, this is all general because many people are watching this video, but in general, it can be whatever you want it to be, whatever that one aim you're going to work towards. Shout out to Gary Keller. If anyone's read The One Thing, it's a great book. It's just all about how we can create needless anxiety in things in our life if we focus on too many things at once. It's the same idea here with shifting our body composition, just transforming in general. If your goal is to gain strength, let's start there. Doing too much cardio is going to work against that. Ideally, if you're gunning towards gaining strength, you're going to be no crap weight training, right? Ideally following a strength building program where you're working on improving your compound lifts, improving your form, improving and increasing the amount of volume you can handle on specific compound movements like squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. You are following ideally a program that is giving you the proper sets and reps to perform at the proper intensity. See my last video on rate of perceived exertion if you want to learn more about intensity that's appropriate for gaining muscle. This is the best scenario just with resistance training on optimizing for gaining strength. You're going to impact your performance in the gym if you are doing a lot of MMA, 100%. Also, just too much cardio in general. 2 to 3 miles a day sounds like a bit much. You can get away with a session or two a week of 2 or 3 miles, but understand at a certain point, you're asking your body to do too many things. Remember, whatever we do, our body wants to ensure that we're going to be better at doing it tomorrow. So if we're going out and running a lot and we stop weight training, your body's going to be like, oh, we don't need as big of delts. We don't need as big of arms. We're not weight training anymore. And this running sucks. We don't need to carry around this. Let's just use it as fuel. So, chase 2 rabbits, you catch none type idea. So understand just doing too much cardio in general is going to work against your aim of gaining strength. If your goal is gaining strength, 1 to 2 MMA sessions a week. We also need to factor in here your fatigue, your ability to just bring your best to your weight training sessions. Might not be able to hit your lifts and actually build on training volume and ideally be hitting personal bests on specific sets. Doesn't have to be a 1 rep max, but performing 10 reps at a weight you've never done before. I think that it will just be harder in a strength building phase if you are keeping too much cardio in the rotation. Now, if your goal is fat loss, of course, you can get away with doing more cardio. I wouldn't necessarily say in this case that you should get rid of any cardio. Again, this is if your goal is fat loss. In a fat loss phase specifically, it sounds like you're intermediate advanced. I'm speaking to intermediate advanced here. Our goal is to just not lose muscle that we worked hard to build during a gaining phase, during a building phase. It's going to be enticing for our body to use that muscle as fuel, especially if we're not resistance training. Resistance training is giving our body a reason to say, hold on, we need this. Don't use it. Don't catabolize this muscle. We're going to keep it on our frame. If you're not eating enough, if you're eating too deep into a caloric deficit and doing too much cardio, you can start to burn muscle, use muscle as fuel. So at the end of the day, these are just some fact-based things. However, there's a whole other side of this that's qualitative based on enjoyment that I think is equally important, if not more important, in terms of you sticking to a wellness routine overall. We're speaking on physical fitness here, but if it's important for your mental sanity and you just enjoy overall, perhaps you have a nice social network at your MMA gym. You're like, dude, I love MMA. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I get that. I've never done MMA. My brother was a wrestler in high school. I hung out with a lot of wrestlers in high school. My best friend was a wrestler. And like everyone and their mother, I'm a big Joe Rogan podcast fan. Been religious on listening to his podcast the last 3 years, and I've learned more about MMA, stuff like that because of Joe. And I think it's a pretty dope sport. I want to try it myself. So only you can answer this question for yourself, Dom. Are you willing to deal with the risks that would come with doing 2 things that can potentially work against each other? I mean, let's state the obvious here. You're going to be in amazing shape, period. You're going to be able to lift some impressive weight by weight training. Sounds like you're weight training 4 to 6 times a week. You're going to be able to run far. You're going to be more physically capable than 99.9% of people out there. But, you know, if you're trying to become a specialist in something and you're sitting here watching this like, nah, fuck all that qualitative stuff. I don't care. Screw that. Screw my MMA gym. I just want to get stronger. Then it's better to pick one aim. Or if you want to get better at MMA, like maybe you just cut back on weight training. You only do it 1 or 2 times a week. You know, upper session, lower session, set it and forget it. So yes, I just used your question, Dom. I hope I said something that's helpful. You can expand in the comment section of this if you'd like any additional help. But I hope I painted a picture of a more general topic just on balancing weight training and cardio in general. You know, if you're a true bodybuilder mentality, perhaps you're even a bodybuilder competitor, a lot of bodybuilders will view cardio through a lens of, it's just a tool that I'm using to improve my cardiovascular capacity so I can perhaps perform better during my weight training sessions, and also facilitate in an easier way facilitate a caloric deficit when I'm in a fat loss phase, when I'm on a competition prep. At a certain point in a competition prep, once you're getting towards the end of it, cardio, low intensity, steady state cardio will pretty much be inevitable. But it's just a tool through a bodybuilder lens. Most bodybuilders don't like cardio. I love cardio. I eat that shit up. But yeah, so I hope this made sense. My friends, hope you enjoyed today's video. Brian DeCosta, shredforlife.com. As always, if you have a question, go ahead and comment it. No question's a dumb question. The only dumb question is a question that's not asked. That was a lot of words. And oh my God, I've been having one of those days, guys. Energy has been low. I had to pound an energy drink before I filmed this, but that's what deadlifts do to you. I think you saw them in this video. Yeah, feeling a little bit wrecked. All right. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video. Peace out.